Do you want to feel more energy, joy, and a lift to each day? Today I'm sharing 5 mental shifts that totally helped me change from feeling kind of tense and anxious to just feeling calm and excited. Mindset shift number 1 is I decided I wanted to go back to my 20s. Okay, now hear me out. There is an awesome study called the counterclockwise study that I heard about from Dr. Ellen Langer. And essentially what they did was they had a special retreat for people in their 70s or 80s. But when they went to the retreat, everything there was back like in the past. I forget how far back it was, but it was the movies, the newspapers, the magazines, everything was from the past. The only requirement was they had to actually speak about those things as if it were happening right then. So everything was done in present tense. But as they went through the activities and enjoyed this retreat, then they did these tests at the end and found that their vision, their hearing, their strength, all these different indicators showed that they actually were younger. So when I heard this, I thought, well, I want to be younger. I want to be 20 again. So a couple things that have helped is, number 1, I have a daily reminders list, and I put in there a couple of photos from when I was 20 years old. I was a group leader for our university, kind of doing a new student orientation, and I was having so much fun and just like living my best life and enjoying being in my 20s. And so I have those pictures that every morning when I look through, I see this picture of me from that time period and I remember that energy. Eric and I also made a new playlist on Spotify that we call 20 Again. And we went through like some of the Billboard top 100 songs from the years when we were dating and when we got married. So one night we're just driving in the car and we started playing through, and any song that kind of lit up our minds and made us remember the best memories from, our courtship and marriage, we put those all in this playlist. And now, while we're getting ready in the morning, occasionally we throw on the 20 Again playlist. It's just some little tiny things, but they've made a shift and helped me just to feel more energetic, and especially remembering what it was like back in those kind of carefree years, that we can still carry a lot of that into today. Number 2, I chose to crave adventure. I was listening to a presentation by an author named Joe Dispenza, and he was talking about how a lot of times we fear the unknown. And so a lot of times the reason we want control is because we like to be able to predict what's about to happen. And I realized that's exactly what I was doing, is I would wake up kind of nervous about the day, or I'd like to control a lot of things because anything that felt unknown felt a little bit scary. So I decided to adopt the motto of crave adventure. So in the morning, if I ever woke up and I felt a little nervous about the day ahead, I would just think, no, I crave adventure. And we even had a funny experience where we were traveling as a family and we were driving through this little rainforest area, and they had a zip line, and it was this like hanging zip line going through the trees. And we asked the kids if they wanted to do it, and a couple of them did. And they said, hey mom, do you want to come on the zip line? And I was a little nervous and thought, I don't know. And then I thought, no, I crave adventure. So went and did it, and it was fun. It was a way to just start getting out of my comfort zone. In addition to craving adventure, I needed to go one level deeper into my subconscious, because what I found is that I like to feel safe. And I think you probably can relate, or maybe you can relate. But when we have that control, we have this illusion of safety. But then in my mind, I thought, well, I believe in God, and I believe that God will help me no matter what I go through. So then I started thinking, okay, I crave adventure, and I'm curious to see how God is going to come through for me today. Because what I found is whenever I go outside my comfort zone, or whenever something happens, that's unexpected, that God has always come through for me, helping me get stronger, helping me become more resilient, helping me learn from maybe errors or mistakes, and setting me up for something even better. So that was the second little level that helped me to truly crave adventure, and I try to think about that every day. Number 3 is I started making a consistent shift from fear to gratitude. So have you ever heard that you can't feel fearful and grateful at the same time? I mean, just try it. Think of the thing that you're most afraid of, and then think about something that you're truly grateful for, and you just can't feel both of those feelings at the same time. But I wanted to learn how to make this shift as quickly as possible. So I got my inspiration from the movie The Princess Bride, and there's a scene in the fire swamp. So Wesley and Princess Buttercup are going through the fire swamp, and every time they hear this clicking sound, then this plume of fire just comes up from the ground. And they start learning that when they hear the clicking, they can move out of the way, they don't catch on fire, and they can make it safely through the swamp. There are some other challenges as well, but this is the main one. So I know this probably sounds kind of weird, but what I would do is whenever I would start to feel fearful, I would think like the fire swamp, click, click, click. And then I would quickly shift to gratitude, think of something I was grateful for. And then whatever was making me afraid, just couldn't get me. Number 4, I dug deep to find some foundational beliefs that weren't serving me. Now, maybe right now you have some foundational beliefs, maybe something someone else has told you, like you're not an organized person, or you can't be counted on, or something like that. But when you have these beliefs about yourself, it does change the way that you do things moving forward. So one story I thought might be helpful was back when Eric and I were starting Learn to Become, and we'd had quite a bit of growth in the first couple of years. And I wanted to learn how to be a better leader, so I hired a coach, and I met with this coach every month to help me, run the community and move things forward. And one day we got on a call, and my coach said, I was talking to my husband about you the other day, and I said, April has the numbers, but she doesn't know anything about business. Now, I had to kind of hold back tears for I think like most of the call, because I just felt so sad that I didn't know anything about business. I don't think I even talked to Eric about this, and I don't even think I talked to anyone about it. I just took it into me, and I believed April doesn't know anything about business. Well, so then if that belief is true, then what happens? So what ended up happening is I would give the control of choice over to other people. I let other people tell me what I needed to do as a business owner. I let other people's opinions and their preferences take over because, well, clearly they all know what they're doing, but I don't. Well, it was finally, I think after like 5 years, that I realized, wait, this person didn't know what they were talking about. I don't know everything, but I do know a lot of things. And so I could move forward with more confidence. But I had to get rid of that one foundational belief that I'd let kind of sneak in. So I just invite you, as you're thinking about your life and maybe what might be weighing you down, do you have some beliefs that absolutely aren't true that you can switch? Number 5, I learned that if I feel guilty doing something to take care of myself, I'm probably doing something right. Now, Be Real just went off. Do you want to do it? This idea came from Dr. Gabor Mate, and he is an amazing author and speaker and presenter. And as I was listening to him, he shared that a lot of the people that he has treated as their physician have really suffered with chronic illnesses if they are people pleasers or always giving themselves and sacrificing themselves for others. Now, the problem is that we often celebrate the people who give everything. Like, oh, they never say no. They're always there for me. They do so much for everyone else. And I think it really is wonderful to serve and love and live a life that's not geared just about, towards ourselves. However, I learned that when I try to push myself over and over and over again, I just start getting sick and depleted. So this idea that when I think, oh, I would love to lay down and take a break, or I'd love to go read a book, or oh, I should take an afternoon and go out on a walk, or I go to a hotel occasionally and check myself in for 24 hours and just relax or do other work that I'm excited about. But I found when I feel the desire to do that, if I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't, usually that means that that's something right. Now, if I were the kind of person where I never did anything for anyone else, then that probably wouldn't be an issue, and I probably wouldn't even be feeling guilty. But when I feel like, oh no, I shouldn't take time for myself, that typically means that I absolutely need to, and that's going to help me in the long run. I hope these ideas were helpful for you today. Maybe you do want to be 20 again, or maybe you might want to crave adventure or learn to make that shift from fear to gratitude. Or maybe there are some beliefs that you could toss out, and maybe more frequent self-care might be just what you need right now. I share all of this because here on the channel I talk a lot about being productive, but if all I do is help people to just get a lot of things done and just be really productive, I just feel like I'm doing a disservice. I want each one of us to feel energetic, to have true beliefs that we're carrying around, to take care of ourselves, and really to be able to work so that we do wake up excited and go to bed content. There's this beautiful painting called Ascent that we have hanging right at the base of our staircase, and it shows people climbing up kind of a rock staircase, but as they're climbing up, they're also reaching back to help those who are coming next. And Eric and I just love that painting, and every time I pass it and climb the stairs, I think about how I want to create a life where as I'm ascending, I'm helping others to ascend as well, because I'm also being pulled and lifted and cared for by those who've come before me. I just think it's a beautiful opportunity that we have to strengthen each other, and I'm so glad that you're here with us. We have a special link in the description to our Arise self-assessment or self-evaluation. This gives you a chance to look at how things are going in 6 key areas of your life. Just make some evaluations and decide if things are going in a direction you love or if you could use a little bit more support. We would love to introduce that to you, and so we'll have the link in the description that you can click and learn more. Thanks so much for being here with us. Whether you're here to get organized or you're here because you want to wake up excited and go to bed content, it all kind of works together. We're so glad you're here, and we'll see you soon at Learn to Become.